And actually, Elon Israeli's dad came over to me and he said, I heard one of the teachers at Barkai, his son passed away. I said, I know, I heard Rav Shani. He goes, no, I heard a different name. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who? He said, I heard a rabbi by the name of Rav Achiya. I said, I never heard of Rav Achiya. I feel bad for him. I don't know who he is, but I never heard of him. He's like, no, I'm telling you, you know him. He said you're very close to him. I'm like, who is Rav Achiya? He's like, you know his son, he has the peor. I'm like, Rabbi Achiya Eliyahu? He's like, yeah. I was having a hard time understanding the norms and the customs and everything that was going on, but there was one space in particular that he really wanted to fit in, and that was recess, which happened to be a special thing for me. Like recess for the Barkai boys that you know, it's like penciled into my schedule, like you're not allowed to schedule a meeting with me, like recess is highly coveted on my calendar. I look forward to spending that time with the boys. And I remember I was playing quarterback and Ariel was just running aimlessly. He didn't really know where he was going, and every single time the play ended, he's like, why are we stopping? Why did we stop running? Like, how come we're not just continuing? And then he was like, but where do I go? And do I go right? How come he went left and I'm going right? And should he go straight? And there were all of these questions. He was very, very confused. But what I admired most about Ariel was that he was so determined and he didn't care about the things that kids usually care about. He didn't care how he looked. He didn't care if he was getting it right on the first try. Ariel was an individual who from the very, very beginning, you could tell he was an individual who was all about a process. He understood that if he worked hard, he could get better at something. And he came to me not with frustration, but rather with questions. He came to me with, so coach, what do I do next? And we would work every single day together. Till he finally found there was one move, I don't know, Rabbi, if you remember this. He finally figured out if he does a fly route and he just runs deep, I was like, I got that one, I got that one. And like sometimes I'll be like, okay, you can't keep doing that. Like you got to mix it up. He's like, no, coach, it works. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep doing this. I was like, all right, if you want to do this, let's keep doing this. And so he did. And finally, like after a number of weeks, he was scoring touchdowns and he was getting high fives from everybody. Ariel was an individual who just had beautiful life inside. That emanated on the outside. It was impossible to be upset when you were around Ariel. He was always helping somebody understand the material, and it was just funny because, like, if the teacher was talking in English and he's the Hebrew-speaking kid and he's trying to explain to the kid in English what's going on, it was a sight. I remember also because he was so well versed in the Hebrew language, so he was excused from Ivri class, and usually a middle school kid, even when you're in Ivri class, you're looking to do shtuyot, you're going to the bathroom, you're doing this, you're running around, you're getting in trouble, you're rummaging through the early childhood classrooms to find the bread and the crackers that are available to you. Ariel was with his dad, learning Torah. And I remember one time I was peeking into the class and I was like, this isn't real. Like, kids don't do that. They don't take their spare time and learn additional Torah on top of what was already assigned to them. As it is, I have to deal with kids coming and, coach, how do I figure this out? How do I not do this assignment? How do I we have a big basketball game tomorrow night. Could you get me out of the assignment? And here we saw Ariel was going out of his way to do additional Torah learning. He was truly inspiring. It's a privilege for me to say that he was a brother. And that he will always remain a brother. I've taken it upon myself to remember some of the values of Ariel, how dedicated he was, and just how happy and kind he was. There was nothing that he wouldn't do for anybody who asked. Didn't matter what it was, big, small, he did it. So it's been well overdue for me at least, on a personal level, to be in person with the Eliyahu family. We just wanted to share on behalf of our entire congregation and group how much we love you and your family, how much you mean to us, how much Ariel meant to the Barkai family, to our Syrian community, to Am Yisrael at large. We only heard more beautiful stories about him as his life grew and developed and as he got older. And it is a real shame and tragedy that our world does not have the presence and the beauty of Ariel currently making it better, because that was what he was here to do. But Be'ezrat Hashem, all of us who are connected to him will continue to take upon ourselves acts of kindness and the values and the character traits of what he represented and what he stood for, so that he should continue to live on through us, and we will ensure that his legacy will perpetuate onwards for more time, and we love you guys. So thank you for making it here tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'll do my best in English. So first, thank you, all of you, for coming. And whoever came for this mission, whoever came from Moreshet, I have a big space in my heart for Moreshet. I used to study with the boys at the night seder for years. I stopped it. I told Rabbi Tessler the only reason I stopped is because it was difficult for me to manage it, to go 3 nights a week, but that was like the highlight of my day, to sit with the boys and learn Torah like at night. So thank you for coming. Shut Rabbanim. Okay, so as coach says, coach, for me or coach, that's it. Okay, so as coach says, Ariel got a lot. I mean, Ariel was a very unique boy, unique friend. He was a good friend, always with a smile on his face. I mean, this smile, like, I barely found pictures of him without a big smile on his face. Like, it's always with this smile. And if you remember, I mean, whoever remember him from Barkai, remember this smile always on his face. Very curious, very like eager to learn, to know. And as you said, as you mentioned, I had the zechut. I realized, like, I had zechut to sit with him 3 years, 4 times a week, like 4 hours a week, to learn Torah with him. And we did a lot together. When we came back to Israel, so we finished 4 Sedarim of Mishnah together. And his bar mitzvah was right after, when we came to Israel. And he made me surprised. In his bar mitzvah, he finished the other 2 Sedarim by himself. And I was sure, for me, it was 4 Sedarim, Siyum. And then he said, no, Dad, it's 6 Sedarim. And he was very mabsut, not small. No, he was very proud of himself that he did it behind my back, and then like, okay. Then his next goal was to finish the Shas Gemara. He was 8th grader when he came to me and said, like, I want to finish Shas Gemara. I told him, like, how are you going to do that? He said, Daf Yomi, it's 7 years. So from now till senior year, I have 5 years. And 2 more years I'll squeeze in. So I said, go for it. Chavod. And he did it. And it wasn't always easy for him. I know, boys, you came this year, and I don't know, maybe it's your first time that you faced struggle in Limud Torah, to sit hour and learn, and another seder, and it's not always easy. So one of his friends told us during the Shiv'ah, he said, I asked him once, I told him, Ariel, you're so lucky. You love to learn Torah. You got lucky that it's easy for you. Then Ariel said, it's not easy. It's not easy for me. It's important for me. But I have to put a lot of effort to do that. And he did that. And when he finished high school, he accomplished the whole Shas Gemara. He learned a lot. He loved to learn. And not only that, and I think this is something important, a lot of times when we talk about learning Torah, it sounds like learning Torah and forget about other spaces in your life. A lot of times when someone dedicated his life for Limud Torah, sometimes he can forget about his talents. Maybe he has some talent that he has. Maybe he has some characteristics that he can really forget about it because now he's learning Torah. So Ariel, it's not easy, but Ariel did it. He found a way how he can do everything combined. I mean, and even more than that, he felt that learning Torah in a whole way, it must be through my talents. I mean, it cannot be that I learn Torah and I live parts of my identity, of my personality. So think about Ariel, as I told you, that loved to learn Torah and put himself in it, and at the same time, he came to me and said, Dad, I want to start learn how to play violin. Okay, he was 18 years old. I mean, usually it's not the age that you start to learn instrument. And he said, like, I checked everything. I know a place I can go. I can rent the instrument, and he did. He started, at least. He started it. And then he said, like, I want to be professional by photography, okay? So he bought himself a nice camera, and I was just the guy with the credit card. I mean, all the plans, he checked everything. He said, Dad, I checked, I have this, I have that. And he was very talented. He did a lot of things. And later on, we heard that he had some hard time. Like after he finished the whole Shas, so he had hard time with continue sitting and learning. Because he felt like, after you have one goal and you work hard to reach that goal, and then you reached it, then there is like, so now what? I mean, what's the next goal? And it could be difficult. And through the fact that he found in himself, like, how can I develop my personality? How can I be like more whole in my life? That's the way he was able to continue and his love for learning and continue his limud Torah. Ariel learned in after his high school. His high school was in the north, in yeshiva, and then he went to yeshivat Hesder. Hesder, it's a combination of yeshiva and army, okay? And so his yeshiva was in Yerucham, it's south, next to Be'er Sheva, Dimona, this area, whenever you visit. So, and then after Pesach, last Pesach, he got to the army. He was in the tanks unit. He finished his training to be a soldier right before Yom Kippur, like last year, like this Yom Kippur, less than 2 months ago. And before Chag Sukkot, him and his friends got the line on Gaza border, and him and his friends, like his unit, like small, they were in the area of Kibbutz Be'eri. I guess you heard the name. So he was on the fence, not on Kibbutz Be'eri, but like literally on the fence, like 100, 200 yards from the fence. Okay, that was the place where they were when everything started. and they automatically, were on the tanks, and they went towards the terrorists, all the attack there. They started to fight, and we know that they did it very fast, because whenever to change from routine to a war, to make the switch in your head, it can take you even minutes. And they did it in a second, the whole tank. They started to fight. We know it from the radio that we don't have, but I heard from a commander that he checked it, and he said this tank was amazing about that, and they fought, and they killed something like 20 terrorists, and then their tank got hit by a missile, and the driver, Baruch Hashem, survived, and he brought Ariel back, Ariel and his friend from there. Baruch Hashem, this is how, at least we had the zechut to have the funeral and to bury him, and it's very important. Even in this darkness, it's important to have a place to go. To know that we did whatever we had to do. And maybe the last thing, we all going through a very hard time in our life as Am Yisrael, and maybe especially since the establishment of the State of Israel. I think I cannot compare, because I'm not. I wasn't in Yom Kippur, but I think it's the most difficult time because. Okay, because. And there was the question: how can we continue? What should we do to continue? And I want to share with you what Ariel told us. About that. He didn't told us, but we got the message from him, not in a spiritual way. Okay. Everything today we type, okay, and you type and you send it to your friends, and we got all the text messages from his friends. We didn't know that he had so many friends, all over, and he had also a girlfriend, and we didn't know. So one of his friends asked him after death. On Pesach, during Pesach, there was a terror attack on two young boys, two young adults in Shomron, two brothers, and they got killed. So she asked him how can I continue? She said I cannot. It's very difficult for me even to pray. She said I prayed at the last second, but it's very complicated. How can I continue? Two young boys, such a sweet and beautiful boys, and that's it. And the answer of Ariel, he answered a long answer for her, and he said few things. He said, first, I believe that kol ma Hashem oseh, hakol letova. Whatever Hashem brings, it's for our own good. And he said, I know it's difficult to say that, and I know it's difficult to believe, but I believe in that. And he said, I cannot explain you why, but it's deep in me, deep in my heart. And I know that whatever Hashem brings is for Tova, it's for our own good. And he told her, you said that it's difficult for you to pray, to stand in front of Hashem. He said, Tefillah, it's not always praising of Hashem. Tefillah could be crying. Tefillah could be shouting. Tefillah could be silent. But we cannot give up. We cannot leave the connection between us and Hashem. On this thing we cannot do. We must have the connection with Hashem. So he said, whatever happened, I keep it. I keep my connection with Hashem. In other text message, he texted a different girl that she went through a hard time, and she said, like, I don't know, everything is so bad and in my life now, and we don't know what's the case there. But she sent us the response of Ariel, and Ariel told her, I want to share with you something, and I'll finish with that. I want to share with you something that I learned from Megillat Esther. We all know the story of Megillat Esther. We all know that Haman and Esther and Achashverosh, we know the story, we learned it. He said the most important and the most interesting thing about Megillat Esther is that basically there was no nes in Megillat Esther. There was no miracle. If we try to think, it just what cool is that everything happened on the right time. But he said, this story of Megillat Esther, it's a very hard story. Try to think about Esther and Mordechai. Esther, Mordechai, according to the Midrash, told her, go to the king, because we need you to take the position, to be there for Am Yisrael, but keep it secretly. And every day, and this is written in the Megillah, Mordechai comes to the palace to see, like, is there something new? Something happened that this sacrifice was worth it? And nothing happened. And Esther, she's with this goy, okay, and she's in the palace for what? And for 5 years, every day, nothing happened. And then, on 1 second, Haman came, and then Esther, and we all know what happened in 2.5 days. So Ariel told her, you have to know that sometimes Hashem has his own plans for us. And we don't have patience, but we have to be patient to know that everything is prepared for us for our own good. And if it didn't happen yet, because it's not the right time. It's not the right time for this to shine, but it will come. So this is one of the messages that we got from Ariel, and we go with that. And it's not easy. It's a difficult days. It's very difficult days. We have a lot of, we miss him. We dearly miss him. And whoever knew who was Ariel, it's hard. At the same time, when we see you live your life and come here, and I know, boys, I know you, when everything started, your parents told you, Yalla, come home, and then you started to come, and I follow Rabbi Tessler's status, so I know the waves, first wave, second wave, and now Baruch Hashem. And I want you to know that it's really mechazek us to see you here. And this is the third mission that we see from the community, and I know there was even more, and tomorrow we're going to meet another group. And when I tell my friends in Israel, I try to explain them, guys, the people there, their hearts are with us, and they say, like, really? I say, I see them, I hear them. And it's so mechazek for us. It gives us like strength to know that it's not only our story, and it's not only Eretz Yisrael's story, it's Am Yisrael's story. And we all united and we all together. And this power, the power of the unity that we see in these days, I mean, it's a great power for us. And Bezrat Hashem, we'll see great nechamot from all whatever we go through, and we know that everything is letovah. Hashem does it for לטובה for us, and בעזרת השם we should see the גאולה